This is the BGG Climbers list for 12/8/2021. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at it and see what's on it. So let's take a look. There's a bunch of new items this week. We'll start with the sub 10 stuff real quick. So one thing I noticed is Exit the Game Advent Calendar. So I think this was last year's Advent Calendar, but maybe it's still available this year. It's essentially an exit game that you open up new mysteries each day. I think it's a cool idea. I haven't played it, so I have no idea if it's good or not. But it's the first time I've seen it on this list, and it's getting a bunch of reviews. So maybe it's available this year as well. Just an interesting thought. Role Player Adventures is still continuing to get very good reviews. I think if it continues this way, it will probably end up in the top 100. I mean, starting out mid 8s and getting an average of 8.42 already is pretty good, even though there's only 353 reviews so far. And number 10, Brian Barus. There's been a bunch of reviews of this. I'm not going to dig into the game too much. It's not a game I think I would personally like, but it's gotten, I guess, medium to medium high reviews in general from what I've seen. In here, it's not doing, I think, as well as the reviews, but only 108 people reviewing it so far, which maybe means that copies just aren't available yet. And let's see how it does. I mean, it's not starting out terrible, but it's also not starting out like enormously strong. That's number 10, Brian Baru. Number 9, 1923 Cotton Club. So I haven't seen this game. The box kind of reminds me of High Society for some reason. I don't know why. So this is a 2 to 4 player game. Doesn't look like it's Kickstarter. Worker placement. And yeah, maybe it is a Kickstarter game because I don't see anything on it down there. The colors are kind of, I guess the artwork's okay. The colors are, it's a really small game. Wow, that thing is tiny. Interesting. So it sold a lot of copies at Essen, I think, is where this is. So a very unique theme. I think the artwork's okay. It's neat that it's in a small box. So let's see how it does. These small box games I originally wasn't super interested in, but as my space is filled up, having a smaller box is kind of exciting to me. So that is 1923 Cotton Club. It's doing, I think, decently for starting out. I mean, especially for maybe a lesser known game. So let's see how this one does as it climbs the ranks. Number 8, we've looked at for a few weeks, Imperial Steam. This week, it's actually picked up a few points here, so 8.24 for the new ratings, which is higher than it's been. I'm interested to see how this one does because I'm always interested in trying to find the next like really good heavy game. I think that Arc Nova is looking pretty good. There was a couple others that like Itoku, which the presentation looked really good, but I felt like the game mechanics maybe didn't come together as well as I was hoping. Let's see how Imperial Steam does. That's number 8. Number 7, Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy. So this is a re-implementation of Dune from Gale Force 9, billed as a shorter version of Dune. I think only plays, let's check, 4 players if I'm right. Yeah, so the full Dune game plays for a long time, 4 or 5 hours, I guess, and plays up to 6 players. This one is best at 4, so it's a kind of a downsized, and it goes 20 to 60 minutes, which is really quick. I think the price on it's pretty good. It's got, I guess, that's Tabletop Simulator. The artwork on the outside is obviously from the movie to try to capture that audience. And they've done an okay job with production for the price. It even looks like, it even has the battle wheels. So a lot of the stuff looks like it may have, been taken from the original Dune. It does seem like at least the core audience for the original Dune game isn't overly impressed with this. If we look at the ratings here, its new ratings is 6.83 out of 10, which is kind of low for a game that was highly anticipated as this. Only 116 ratings, so let's see. But this might be falling victim to the Dune remake issue, which is, games like Rex just didn't do that well versus the original Dune. I think it's probably something with the classic nature of the game and just how it is that people want. Maybe they don't like the changes to the rules that speed it up and make it a little bit easier to get into. So this is Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy. Number 7. I have a feeling this won't end up in the top 100, but we'll see if it shows up in the future weeks. Number 6 is Radlands. So this is a game that we looked at a few times ago. It seems to be picking up, or I guess staying strong with its new ratings. It's gotten solid above 8 for the last month or so, or actually 2 months now. I like the artwork. I was a little bit mixed on the on whether I would personally like the gameplay, but it seems like a lot of people do like it. I think we might be seeing this one's probably going to end up in the top 250 at least, and then we'll have to see if it sells enough copies to get higher. That's Radlands, number 6. Number 5, Crew Mission Deep Sea. So this is rocketing up the charts. People love the Crew. Crew's an amazing game. This is probably, based on the ratings, I haven't played it, but it's probably an amazing game. And it seems like the people that like the Crew really like the Crew Mission Deep Sea. And I don't see why this will not end up in the top 100. It's already at 325, and it hasn't even been out for that terribly long. So, number 5, the Crew Mission Deep Sea. Number 4, Thuia Torment of Resurrection. So this is another Kickstarter game that looks like it's just getting delivered to people. It's a cooperative tabletop RPG game. So it's got this big map. It's got, I guess, traditional tabletop characters. It's got looks like almost like loot and I don't know, like loot trays, which is kind of cool, where you can put your items on you, just like in a computer RPG, which is something I'm interested in. Lots of tokens. It looks fairly complicated. I think the artwork looks pretty decent. So the minis look at least good in the pictures. These are the early, I guess, prototypes of it. It's a fairly, I guess, legendary collection big box game. Someone got it in the mail. Legendary Pledge Tier 2. So, and this was December 4th. So people are getting this in the mail. It looks like a big game. 3.56 out of 5 for a wait and a long playing time. So this is definitely for a pretty heavy gamer. And it is a re-implementation of Legendi Zumi Ithui, which I think must be a game that was never released in English. Looks almost Czech. Maybe it's a Czech game. Competitive strategic board game. Interesting. Also, I guess it's cooperative as well, according to this. I'm interested to see this one. I think the people that have gotten it think it's amazing. A lot of these RPG games I feel like, have really taken off in the last few years. It's expanded beyond just the dungeon crawler genre into more RPG-esque experiences. And I'm interested to see where this goes. I don't know if there's going to be enough copies out there, at least with the initial print run, for it to get in the top 100. But we will probably see it in the next weeks as the copies get delivered. So that's number 4, Thuia. Number 3, Final Girl. So this is the latest Van Ryder game. You alone must survive and defeat the horror movie killer. So this is, I think, based on Reimplements Hostage Negotiator, which is a game I haven't played. Based on a I think a comic of some sort. I actually don't know this one. Reimplements Hostage Negotiator, and it's done by Van Ryder Games, who did Detective City of Angels, which was a very well received game. This one is a solo only game, so people, I feel like It would have been nice if it came out a little bit before. I mean, I'm hoping the pandemic's coming to an end here, but I think there's, that did give people a taste of solo gaming, and solo gaming is probably here to stay, or at least bigger than it was before. Where do I think this is going to end up? I mean, it's hard to say. This is its first week on the list. It must just be getting delivered to backers. So we'll have to keep an eye out on this one and see how it does. Solo games tend to not get into the top 100 just because the market's not as big as other board games. But this is the pandemic. It's hard to say what's going to happen with this. So that's number 3, Final Girl. Number 2 we looked at last week. It's a Wonderful Kingdom. This is doing really well. It's a 2-player game based on, I mean, it almost seems like it's taking the Seven Wonders idea and doing something a little bit different with kind of a similar theme. It looks very interesting to me, and I may end up picking up this game at some point just because I think that really solid 2-player games are a bit hard to find. So this is It's a Wonderful World, number 2. And number 1, World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. So I think we've seen this on the list before, but never at number 1. This game just came out. It's a reimplementation of pandemic mechanisms, but in the World of Warcraft universe. The minis, I have an unboxing video. The minis look, I think, really good for this price point. They're all like, World of Warcraft themed. The artwork, this is a nice paint job on them. I wish I could paint that well. In other languages, some maybe not so great pictures. All right. So yeah, I prefer the painted minis, and I think the detail is good enough where if you are a good painter, you're going to be able to make them look really, really awesome. I was impressed with the quality of the miniatures in this game. As far as the gameplay, I don't know, but I like the artwork, I like the miniatures, I like the quality of the game. I'm really hoping to get it to the table at some point, and I just think that previously World of Warcraft games maybe weren't as solid of gameplay as this one probably is going to end up being based on the pandemic system. Do I think it'll end up in the top 100? It's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of pandemic in the top 100, so it could. But I also think that the non-legacy pandemic games just haven't been shooting up as quickly up the list as they used to. I mean, pandemic's been around for a very long time now. It might be even 12 or 14 years since the very first version of pandemic. And, after that time, I think it may have worn out the system a little bit in terms of its ability to climb the ranks really quickly. So that is number 1, World of Warcraft, The Wrath of the Lich King. This was the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 12/8/2021. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.